Ready.
Ready?
Good evening, America. Hello, Chicago. And what's up, West Side? This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self esteem. You could have been doing anything on this very nice Sunday afternoon, and you chose to come hang out with me today at Black Excellence Hour. And as always, I appreciate the company. Today's show is a little different because today we are streaming on YouTube. This is the first time that I've actually used YouTube. I think that I'm also on the Black Excellence Hours Facebook page and on Twitter. Let me check it out. Let me just make sure that we are streaming because this is my first time ever doing this. Let me make sure. Are we streaming on Black Excellence Hour? It is not streaming on Black Excellence Hour, so hold on. All right, and we are live. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour, everybody. Um, Again, tonight is the first time I've ever streamed on this many platforms. We are live on the Black Excellence Hours Facebook page. We are live on the Chicago Red YouTube page. Chicago Red is coming to YouTube. You all, we're going to put all of the content that we did during the election, all of the content that I do here at Black Excellence Hour, all of the content that we have on Fox News that includes myself, the Chicago Conservative, Osiris, Dennis, everybody who's ever done any work through our organization, and our own content. It is time to step the game up. We have been so busy that we have been neglecting the social media aspect of it, but we've done all the footwork on the street. So now it's time to move it to the content lane. What a great time. Before we get started, as we do with every single show, we're going to get a dose of self esteem from the 47th president. I don't even have to say the upcoming because my man won and got in office just like I told you he would. Just like I told you that he would. I don't lie. I might tell a joke, but I do not tell a lie. That man is Donald J. Trump Sr., the 47th president. He has a dose of self esteem for me and you. Roll tape.
African Americans built this nation. We built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African American communities all throughout our land. Our agenda is lifting up citizens of every background, race, religion, color, and creed. But while we are fighting every day to build up our nation, the far left only wants to wreck, ruin, and destroy our nation.
All right. That was Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, telling us exactly who we are and who we belong to. I also want to play something for you guys because my Donnie has been super busy. Now, I haven't seen you since before the inauguration, so I got a whole lot to talk about before we get to the meat of the show, which is DEI Donald Ended It. Clap it up for Donald Trump. Clap it up for Donald Trump. We are done with DEI. White women no longer will be able to benefit from the trauma of the Negro. We are getting rid of all of that people of color, minority, blah, 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 blah. We're not doing that anymore. And my Donnie is piece by piece, little by little, getting rid of all DEI in any programs that are going to help Black non Negro people benefit from Negro trauma. Check out this. This is where he says specifically that the 14th Amendment was not meant for immigrants because he's definitely getting rid of birthright citizenship. That, friends, is over, okay? No more getting pregnant in the United States thinking that we're going to take care of you. We're not doing that anymore. So listen to what my Donnie says about the 14th Amendment. Roll tape.
Votes on the Supreme Court. What position? Birthright citizenship. I think so, yeah. Look, birthright citizenship was, if you look back when this was passed and made, that was meant for the children of slaves. This was not meant for the whole world to come in and pile into the United States of America, everybody coming in and totally unqualified people with perhaps unqualified children. This wasn't meant for that. This was meant, when it was originally done, for the children of slaves.
That's right, baby. We getting rid of everything that everybody from around the world has been trying to just get over on the American people. Now, we got our mayor here who is still playing games, been playing games. He's actually dropping a whole lot of money on the west side of Chicago. And I got this message from the people that I hang out with that P. Ray, we gotta you gotta slow down a little bit on Brandon, okay? He is here. He's trying to help us out. But when I saw Rahm Emanuel at the press conference with Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson, I say, here come the Negro checks. Whoa, Lord. They are here to drop money on the people to slow down the movement of Chicago Red. They said, we're going to just buy them back and keep going with our sanctuary scheme. Listen to your mayor and what he says about the fact that he's been called to Congress to testify about the sanctuary city status. Roll tape.
Here's what I'm getting at. This oversight committee, of all the things that they want to have sight over, they should look at the White House right now. That White House is being ran in one of the most raggedy forms of government that I've ever seen. If anybody is questioning whether or not what our country would look like had the Confederacy won, there should be no question now. They want us to be afraid. Do not be afraid, Chicago. Whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, I'm always going to stand up for the interests of working people, and I will not be intimidated by some weak individual who won't stand up to an individual who believes he's a supreme being right now. You're worried about Chicago? Look in your front yard. We have a president right now who is obfuscating his responsibilities that should be very clear based upon the Constitution. He is rejecting the Constitution of the United States of America. And if they want to have a real discussion about undocumented individuals who are criminals, they should look at the very individuals who enslaved our people and colonized this land. So whether it's an invitation or a subpoena, the people of Chicago would not be intimidated or threatened by any individual who is unwilling to look in their own front yard of where the real threat to our democracy lies.
Ah, boo. Brandon going to jail. You heard it here first. If he does not comply with the federal government and their immigration movement, he will be going to the MCC for trying to obstruct federal business. Do not think that Donald Trump is going to hesitate to lock this man up, because he's definitely going to get locked up if he does not do what he needs to do. You can hear that JB Pritzker is actually kind of like, well, maybe we should get rid of the criminals. And then you saw Tom Dart, who is the Cook County Sheriff, saying, well, y'all can come get them. If you got the warrant, come get them like you've been coming to get them. So everybody is on board with what's happening in Chicago except Brandon Johnson. And like I said, he's the one that's getting ready to go to jail. Moving on, moving on, moving on. This week they have also been lying on my Donnie because he did a federal freeze, and they were saying, oh Lord, they gonna take the Social Security, oh Lord, they gonna take the stamps and the Medicaid, and whoa, people gonna die on the street. Well, friends, I looked it up because I know that my Donnie wouldn't do anything to hurt the American people. And this came from the Office of the President, Office of Management and Budget. Is this freeze on benefits to Americans like SNAPs or student loans? The answer is no. Any program that provides direct benefits to Americans is explicitly excluded from the pause and exempted from this review process. In addition to Social Security and Medicare, already explicitly excluded in the guidance, mandatory programs like Medicaid and SNAP will continue without pause. Funds for small businesses, farmers, Pell Grants, Head Start, rental assistance, and other similar programs will not be paused. If agencies are concerned that these programs may implicate the president's executive orders, they should consult OMB to begin to unwind these objectionable policies without a pause in the payments. What y'all mad about? The pause only affects programs that deal with people without social security numbers. So if you have a social security number and a birth certificate, this doesn't have anything to do with you. These people think that you are idiots, and you're not stupid, America. You're not stupid. You know how to read. You know how to write. You know how to count. You know how to think for yourselves, America. Please let these people stop lying to you. It is a serious matter, because they are going to be lying to you for the next 4 years, trying to get you to get all upset and bent out of shape because they want to lie and twist the truth. The fact of the matter is, ICE is here. ICE is here, and that number is 866 DHS2 ICE. See something and say something today. Call the white man. These people gotta go. Did you all see the Jewish man on the north side, how they had him bound and gagged in his basement? Two illegals, one from Honduras, one from Venezuela, went to this man's house, met him on Grindr, tied him up, gagged him, beat him, left him to suffocate, stole his wallet and his car, and drove off. Right here in the city of Chicago, that is magnetizing us for illegal immigration. And because your mayor keeps telling people that we are going to stand up for the illegals, all it's doing is bringing more people from around the country, more criminals from around the country to Chicago, because they know that they will be protected here. Please, y'all, we all deserve better than this. However, I also want to move to this tariff issue. So, Donald Trump, my Donnie, has stated that he is going to put a 25, I'm sorry, he's going to put a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada, and a 10% tariff on imports from China. And they said that this could potentially ignite a trade war that would disrupt more than $2.1 trillion of annual trade. The reason that my Donnie is doing this is because both Mexico and Canada have been allowing, number one, a stream of illegal immigrants to cross through their country into ours. We already had an agreement with them that they would not allow our border to be crossed because we're supposed to be North American brothers. However, they are some haters. So instead of them blocking the people, they let the illegals come across both borders. They're sending fentanyl, which is killing people. Like I told you, my homegirl died on her back porch. I got another guy who OD'd, but he survived, thank God. All of these things are happening because Mexico and Canada won't do their part. Well, the president of Canada said that he's going to retaliate and he's going to put new tariffs on 25% of the US imports. It's very important to remember that US goods are already very expensive in Canada, so it's only going to help the Canadian or hurt the Canadian people. It will not hurt us. Moving on, just go with my Donnie, okay? He knows exactly what he's doing. He had 4 years to study the play, and we're working with the man who literally wrote the art of the deal. This is not a game. It's not a game. They're saying that people are not going to the work site. So if you are in construction, it's time for you to go get you a construction job. If you are in manufacturing, it's time to go get yourself a manufacturing job. The job field is wide open because people are going home. Moving on. Let's talk about the inauguration because, again, I haven't been here in a while. The inauguration, y'all, was so much fun. Shout out to Chicago Red. Shout out to everybody who came on the trip with us. If you follow me on X, I did a live tour of the townhome that we had, which was absolutely fabulous. We joked and said there were enough bathrooms for everybody. So we had, it was like maybe 5 or 6 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 2 half baths, wood floors, gorgeous. We hosted breakfast. We hosted dinner. A lot of people from Chicago came and stopped through with us. We also hosted some people from around the country at our home. However, the greatest part of the entire trip was the Midwest Ball. The Midwest Ball was put on by a guy named Mark Burns, and he is a businessman from the South. Mark Burns had everybody in the building. I want to give a special shout out to Miss Marcia Dyson, who is Michael Eric Dyson's wife. She is like a woman that I met, and I'm so happy to have her in my life. I saw her there. I want to give a shout out to Armstrong Williams, who is the media conglomerate of the Southeast. Tomorrow I will be on his show in Baltimore. He's the owner of the Baltimore Sun, along with a whole bunch of other media conglomerate or media outlets, radio stations, TVs. I met the king and queen of Uganda. One of my people met the prime minister of Mongolia. We had a ball, y'all. Nigerian princess, Ghanaian princess. I'm not even putting it into words how amazing this ball was. However, when I was there, I met a guy who went to Hampton with me. I hadn't seen this man since I was like 18. I'm like, yo, kid, what's up? So he introduced me to some of his friends who were doing the blockchain ball, and they were sponsored by Make America Healthy Again, which is Robert Kennedy. So we ended up going to their ball, which is the blockchain ball at the Kennedy Center, which again was absolutely amazing. I ended up meeting the rapper Waka Flocka Flame. Waka is a whole vibe. He wants to come to Chicago. He said typically when he comes here, he hangs out on the south side. I told him, come to the west side, baby, so you can get a whole different vibe. So shout out to Waka Flocka for joining Chicago Red. A time was had. Then a group of my people went to the rally, that the last rally that they had at the Capital One Center, and got VIP seating. They literally went there and said they went to VIP and were like, yo, we're here with Chicago Red. They're like, Chicago Red, come with us. So they got to sit on the stage behind the president at the last rally. So shout out to the good people who were working on that. Every time we went to the rally, they always showed us a lot of love. So thank you for that. However, when they were gone, I was doing some other things again, hosting people, having meetings, setting things up. Because at the end of the day, although we are on national TV very frequently, that's not the goal of this organization. We appreciate it, but that's not what we're searching for. Our goal is to improve the current conditions in the city of Chicago by giving people the civic education and patriotic esteem that they need to abandon the system of liberal failure. Nothing more, nothing less. So you got to make deals as you are doing this, and not deals to enrich yourself, but deals to enrich your community. Because again, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the kids. It's about their kids. Like I say, my grandparents bought a building in 72 so that their grandchildren could always have somewhere to stay. And I live there now. So you got to think 2 generations ahead as we are making these moves. Shout out to everybody who made the inauguration amazing. Shout out to the Illinois GOP. We went to the Illinois GOP reception and also got a whole bunch of love. Y'all know who I ran into at the Illinois GOP reception? Those brothers who lied with Jesse, those Nigerian brothers, they were there. And somebody was like, aren't those brothers from Jesse? I'm like, no, they wouldn't be here. Definitely was them. So again, shout out to the Illinois GOP. Shout out to Blexit. We went to the Continental restaurant in DC, which is like this African fusion restaurant, and hung out with them. It was absolutely amazing. Shout out to my big sister, Travian Cootie. Travian! That's all I can say to you, girl. She's absolutely amazing. She is the ultimate PR fighting machine. This woman is everything. So shout out to Trey. I love you, girl. So if I did not call your name, charge it to my head and not my heart. Chicago Red went out there and had a good time. We even ended up with George Blakemore. They called me and said, P. Ray, George Blakemore just arrived at the airport. We're about to bring him to your house. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you're about to bring me George Blakemore? They're like, open your door. Here we come. So George came to the house and we had a ball with him as well. So again, thank you to everybody who showed us some love. Back to the show. Moving on. We've spoken about Brandon. We've spoken about the lies that they are telling. And when it comes to my Donnie, we've spoken about the tariffs. Let's talk about DEI, diversity, inclusion, and what's diversity, equity, and inclusion. All of that is dead. My Donnie said he doesn't want any more pronouns on any more emails. They don't care about people and their holidays and their groups and none of that. We are here to go to work, get our check, and go on home. We're not here for that anymore. So initially they were like, oh Lord, they're going to get rid of Black History Month. And then my Donnie came out and made an executive order specifically celebrating Black American History Month. You see how these people just lie over and over and over and over again. And even in the proclamation, he spoke specifically about Negro people in this country. He knows exactly who we are, the children of slaves, and we're about to get the credit that we are due. You'll see, America. I'm telling you, I have so much confidence in my president. However, it's very important to realize that with DEI, the people who benefited from this the most were white women and gay white men. In DEI in 2021, only 4% of DEI work went to Black people. And within that 4%, that does not even give the breakdown of how much went to the American Negro. So I don't understand why people are so upset and besides themselves, like, oh my God, why would he do this? This is so terrible. Why do you all care about advancing white women so much? Do you think that they're going to be nicer to you? Do you think that they're going to invite you to the tea parties? They're never going to do that. It is low self esteem for any Black American person, any Negro, any child of a freedman to be out here crying and falling out over DEI. Let's take a call really quickly. 773-345-9977. 773-345-9977. Let's take a caller. Caller, welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Yeah. Hi, P. Ray. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Well, let's start off with the inauguration. That was the experience of a lifetime for many of our fans, especially when I went to Trump victory rally.
Tell us about it.
So it was really nice. I mean, they had some entertainers, so like Kid Rock and them. They was playing different between some clipping from Full Metal Jacket versus some transgender officer in the military. They was that Donald Trump kids was there. Eric Eric just blew it off the roof right off. And to me, um, let me see who else was there. Elon Musk showed up over there. I was hoping that JD Vance would be there, but Elon Musk, he had a lot of energy. I think he had too much candy and stuff that day. So it was a really, I mean, it's like we was a lot. It was like we were celebrity, especially the cool Chicago. I mean, cool Chicago red MAGA hats and the construction hat that we had on that day too. So it was really fun. It was really fun.
Well, thank you again for coming and hanging out and rocking with me the entire weekend. I know that I move a little differently. I do a lot of thinking in my mind before I bring it out of my mouth. So thank you guys for really rocking with us pretty well.
Yeah, like I said, normally I'd be at home by 10. I've never been out past my curfew in a long time at my age, but I really had a good time, Ralph, and especially the food at the Continental. It was pretty. It was different. I never had no African cuisine before until I went there. So it was fun. It was fun.
That's
I'd like to bring something up. I would like to bring something up about Brandon Johnson. He's called it an invitation and stuff. I don't think the House of Representatives don't give out nobody no invitation, and he don't have no choice but to show up before Congress, Ralph Hand. And the only thing he could do is bringing up slavery and racism. And I think it's everybody in the city of Chicago are tired of hearing the same rhetoric, and he ain't helping the city. He ain't helping the citizen. Now, notice I say the citizen of Chicago, not the people.
correct.
Those are two different concepts right there.
That's why he said the working people of Chicago.
Yeah, well, I call it the working citizen of Chicago because we were naturally born here. We didn't cross no border to cheat the system and stuff.
I agree. That's why, again, he has to go to Congress and he has to atone and testify to the United States government as to why he is choosing to skirt federal immigration laws. I'm telling you, they're going to make an example out of him. I don't know a lot about these people, but based on what I do know, they don't like people playing in their faces like this.
Well, that orange jumpsuit that I presented to him about 2 or 3 months ago, it'll fit him very well.
I totally agree. I totally agree. That is somebody's daddy, so we don't want him to go to jail, but he is doing everything so that they could lock him up. And I've never seen anything like this in my life.
But don't you think it's a fair statement to say that he's imprisoned the citizen of Chicago by allow these illegals to do what they want to do, take reaping the benefits of our tax dollars? So in a sense, we are in prison right now because of his policy. Not only his policy, but the city council policies as well. So I can speak on us as parents, we are in prison of his policy.
I totally agree. And it's funny that you say that because everything that I've been asking for from City Hall, they've given to me now. I asked them for the stop sign at the end of my block that I've been literally begging for at least 5 years. Boom, I wake up one day and I got a stop sign. Then I was talking about how they took Baby Love's school bus. They called me Friday and said, hey, P. Ray, we got a bus for Baby Love. I'm what? So Monday, she's getting the bus. Right now, they are on the cleanup tour, which is why Rahm Emanuel is here. Rahm Emanuel is here to pass out checks and favors to everybody so that they can rebuild the blue wall, but it's never coming back.
Oh, sound like a bribe to me.
Could be. That's like what they do. Yep, that's exactly what they do and how they make it happen.
Yeah. So we'll see on February 11th and see what he's gonna say because he's not a good liar and I believe he's gonna have a panic attack when he see Jim Comey and the rest of them.
Yeah, well, hey, we're gonna see. But when Tom gets here, I say go get the girls that dance on top of the police cars so we can have twerkers for Tom. Because Tom is getting a ticker tape parade when he gets here. We are so happy that he's coming.
Yeah, and is this gonna be worth me going to get me a box of popcorn for it?
Well, there will be a city hall meeting on Wednesday. So hopefully we'll all be there and we can tell them how we feel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think you're gonna have a flash. I think you're gonna go to sleep and have these little memories of the orange jumpsuit, and then you're gonna look at Congress and you're gonna think of that flashback of that orange jumpsuit. That's why I believe.
We'll check it out. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
This is 773-345-9977. Today we are talking about DEI. Donald ended it. We're making sure that everything that was meant for the children of the freedmen go to the children of the freedmen. Why is everybody so upset and besides themselves about this? We should be happy about this, Negro people. How much can these people take advantage of you? And then you got all of these people who, oh, you're going to lose your job. They're going to fire you and put a white person there. If you got a job as a Negro in the United States of America, trust, know, and believe that you are well qualified for that job. They wouldn't have even let you pass the application stage to get further. We know this in corporate America. We know that when we're sitting in these offices, we see who working. Why are you guys allowing these people to play with us like this? It's okay because it's DEI and Donald ended it. Let's take another phone call. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Hi, T. Ray. This is Daphne, first time caller.
Welcome, Miss Daphne.
Hey, I noticed that they're getting a little bit nicer now. They used to just feel like that they were in control of us, butt bumping into you and everything. But I have one question. Why is the guy who was at City Hall who said no more money for you? I would like to find out where he is so that he could be one of the ones supported right away.
We gotta find him. Miss Daphne, I think about him all the time. I'm like, ooh, they might be at City Hall on Wednesday because now they're telling people come to City Hall. We want to crowd each other out, this, that, and the third. I want to say if you're watching today, this is the logo for Chicago Red. We are Chicago Red. That's our organization, website, all that good stuff. There are other groups that we've inspired to form, but this is us. We will be there, and I encourage you to come too because we're going to say the same thing. Where is this man? Everybody who stood at this mic talking about I'm undocumented and y'all are xenophobic. Come say that to us in front of Tom Holman. You see? So, yes, Miss Daphne, we got to find that man.
Okay, well, we sure do. And thank you, P. Ray.
Thank you for calling. And what part of the city you calling us from?
Chicago.
I mean, what side?
18 Ward.
You said which?
On the south side, southwest side, 18 Ward. Derek Curtis Ward.
Yes, ma'am. I know exactly where you are. And your committeeman, I used to be friends with them. So, yes, ma'am, I know exactly where you are. Thank you for showing love from the 18th Ward.
Thank you.
773-345-9977. Let's take another caller. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Recall Brandon from Quito, Ecuador.
Recall Brandon. How you doing, Jim?
Good. I'm calling from Quito, Ecuador.
Ecuador? What are you doing down there?
America. I just went down there for a little trip, just check things out a little bit. So, do the magic of cell phone technology and things like that. We can call in and dial into your show.
Well, thank you for coming. What's going on?
Quito. Well, Quito it's the elevation here is about 8,000 feet, so it's a cool town. Even though it's on the equator, you're not down at like sea level, so it's like, last night was like 50 degrees, and today was about 68 or so. It's cool. Had a little bit of rain. It's interesting here. It's this town, the old part of the town. It's very touristic. It's very historic. There's one building. We had this lunch at today. Got all this beautiful artwork and stuff, and all these nice pictures. And the place I'm at here, it's called the Hotel San Francisco. It's like a museum. And when you go have lunch in the breakfast in the room downstairs, it's like one of those rooms that has like arched ceilings that's done in brick. I'll send you a picture. And then there's a sign that said this was like a kind of a holding prison for people back in the old days. But there's a lot of history. It's very nice. I mean, it's different. The streets, there's no room for cars. There's no street parking at all. It's just, they're too small. There's no room, you know. But, as you know, there was all this bullshit about, all this garbage about, Trump being a racist. So I said, you know what? It just was announced this week that Trump bombed, took care of ISIS in Somalia.
Yes.
And of course, people in Somalia, they're going to live better. And they're mostly black. So if that Trump's a racist, he would want to do things to help black people. And also, if you look at the picture of the 7 hostages that came home from Venezuela, 2 out of 5 were brothers of color. So again, if Trump was such a racist, he wouldn't be one to free black people. And no, I mean, it's just these people are so stuck and stupid, and then of course there's the thing with the Musk and his Hitler high five, kind of putting his fingers up. And of course there's there's pictures of Obama and Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris and other people doing the same thing, So it's such a game. And they go, well, Trump's talking about DEI. I don't know if you knew this, but the night before the crash, there was a similar incident that could have potentially done the same thing. The same thing could have happened.
What happened?
So the night before, well, there was an aircraft that was coming into land, and they had to do a go around because there was a helicopter noise. So this was like the same incident in 2 different nights, two consecutive nights. Of course, one, of course, it was a tragedy. But this is the same setup, and so this is the problem now, or the situation. When you can sit there and look at people's approach patterns and the recordable flight stuff, you can't hide it. So here's what it is. And also, after this all started to occur, Senator Ted Cruz and some other senators, they were questioning a guy named Mr. Washington, who Biden wanted to be the FAA administrator last year in 2023. And of course, it's actually 2 years ago now. And the guy was so stupid. He had no aviation experience, didn't know anything about airplanes. And it's like, of course, fortunately, enough Democrats saw that, so they didn't confirm him. But some of the Democrats say, oh, this guy's highly qualified for the office. Not at all. And they're all moaning about Trump and DEI and taking away all these, Black History Month and all this stuff. He wants to do away with all this stuff and just have your mind on the business at hand, and you can do your own personal stuff on your own time.
I mean, I agree. And like I said, these programs have been too tainted. When they were coming out with these types of things, when it was Negro Week back in the 60s, and then it grew to become Black American History Month, all of these things were specifically for an American ethnicity. It was never meant to celebrate foreign countries or foreign ethnicities on American soil. It was never meant to advance people and their sexual preferences. It just got too out of hand.
Exactly.
So yeah, DEI is over because Donald ended it, and we are so happy.
That's right. And people say, well, how did that work out for Bud Light?
Yeah, they see what they say, go woke, go broke.
That's absolutely the case. So, but good show, and we'll be in touch as usual.
All right, thank you. 773-345-9977, 773-345-9977. Let's take another caller. Caller, welcome to Black Excellence Hour.
Good evening, P. Ray. This is Robert in San Diego.
Oh, wow. Hey, Mr. Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, but I'm kind of scratching my head as to why Negroes want to hold on for dear life to a program that doesn't even benefit them, or benefit them little at the most. This DEI thing. It doesn't make sense to me. Is it that they have this need to feel offended or something? I don't get it.
I think it's because they are not reading for themselves. And white women told them to get upset. And they said, well, Missus, we mad. You see, I mean, that could be the only reason. Because anybody who is literate has the responsibility to read for themselves and find out that this was not beneficial to the Negro people at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, today I got a text message from someone saying February 2025 boycott Amazon, boycott Target, boycott all these other companies that drop DEI but support Costco and support some other company.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's just an irrational emotional response rooted in the insane hatred of Donald Trump. Seriously.
I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I
Exactly.
totally agree. I think that they are going to be playing these psyops on our people for the next 4 years, every week, giving them something to be more outraged about. And now that we already know that it's coming, we have to protect our feelings appropriately. People who are offended during this time want to be offended, so let them stay their man butts over to the side. We don't have time for that.
Well, that's exactly the point. They absolutely do want to be offended. They actually enjoy it. It must be some sort of chemical in their brain, like dopamine or something.
they think being upset aligns them closer to the white power structure, that the white liberal power structure that they'll never ever be able to break into.
Suckers. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Robert. 773-345-9977. We got callers from California today. That's my guy, though. He keeps me relevant. And if you want to keep in contact with me or with the show, don't hesitate to contact me through chicagored.org or on Twitter at chicagoredp or on Facebook at Black Excellence Hour, and now at the Chicago Red face or YouTube page. Everyone's like, P. Ray, you got to get on YouTube. Where YouTube? Here I am, baby. Here I am. It's also really important to realize that within the DEI framework, what it did was it lumped the Negro in with foreigners, white women, and gay white men. So what it actually did was diminish opportunities for us because we were told to eat out of the same trough as the third world and everybody else, leaving an entire space for straight white men to kind of fight over. And what I'm saying is we are not diminishing ourselves anymore as American people. We're not doing people of color. You know who people of color mean? What that means? That means everybody who's not white in America. That lumps us in with all non-white immigrants, and their business is none of our business. Do you know what minority means? That means to lump you in with non-white foreigners. That's not who you are. BIPOC, Black Indigenous people of color. You know who that includes? Indigenous people like the Venezuelans who are coming up here. Black people who are coming in from the Caribbean in Africa. That is none of your Negro business. Stop saying that. It is so important that we stop saying that and call ourselves the appropriate names, which leads me to the last point of the show because we got to wrap it up soon. So if you want to call, you better call now. 773-345-9977. I meant to bring this up in the beginning of the show, but as everyone knows, Mayor Tiffany Henyard is my friend, my homegirl, okay? Like my friend before she was mayor, she came down to my job. We became friends. I have nothing against her. Well, I watched a video last week where Tiffany Henyard was verbally assaulted at her job, someone talked under her clothes, called her a whore and a bad mama, and said all kind of stuff, and then a brawl ensued. So because Tiffany is my homegirl, I called her and I'm like, girl, are you okay? What's up? She said that this attacker actually had a knife and he was stabbing and cutting them during this brawl. Her boyfriend's face and neck were cut, and a guy that was with them had his hands cut. Now, I'm not saying that Tiffany was in the right because Tiffany shouldn't have got out of her seat. However, we are now noticing a trend of people attacking Black female politicians at work. We had Emma Mintz, who was manhandled and pushed by Carlos Rosa at City Hall. Now we got Tiffany being verbally assaulted at her job out there in Thornton Township. People are talking about Tiffany and saying that Lori went out there to do an investigation, but based on Lori's investigation findings, she specifically says that this is not a criminal investigation. So Lori did not go out there to do a criminal investigation. She went out there to do an audit. Tiffany is the victim of a smear campaign. And for that reason, this week we are having a press conference for Tiffany out there in Dalton for Black women. Participate or not, I don't need you to tell me what I need to do or not need to do, because at the end of the day, we cannot have it that people think it's okay to attack Black women in power. If I got a political seat, I don't want nobody to come to my job and cuss me out and throw me around and bring knives to stab me up. Nobody wants or needs that. So if you're following me on any social media platforms, please keep an eye out about that, because we are pulling all of that together right now. Again, this is not about the politics of Dalton. I don't stay in Dalton. I don't even go south of Cermak, okay? I focus on West Side business. However, when it comes to the business of Black women in Cook County, oh, all of that is my business. And we got a whole bunch of other women who have made that their business too. So we will be doing that press conference this week. Keep your eyes and ears open for that. If you want to participate, we're going out there to stand up for Black women. I am getting the wrap up signal. So we're going to wrap all of this up. Remember that Chicago Red meets every Thursday at Christian Community Center. I've been getting a lot of pushback about that from the woman who owns Christian Community Center. She said that the city is coming to her and asking her, how are you pushing P. Ray to do this? Why are you allowing her to do this? I don't want her to mess up any relationships or miss out on their Negro check money. The money is dropping in Chicago right now. And anybody that's getting some money, you better say, thank you, P. Ray. I am the reason that they are pushing all of this money, because they are buying back the votes. But we standing up for Black women this week. The music is playing, and that means that we are at the end of Black Excellence Hour. And as always, I truly appreciate the company. Remember, guys, there is no more Black and brown, no more minority, no more BIPOC, no more any of that. My Donnie killed DEI, and we thank him for it. We are not pitiful. We are not a charity. We are true blue Americans. Everything from sea to shining sea is for us and us first. We are as American as sweet potato pie, and we don't need anybody, especially the children of the immigrants, to come here and tell us how to function within our own country. We are strong. We know what to do. We got a president that's putting the American people first, and by putting the American people first, he's going to put the Negro first, because the Negro is 100% American. We belong to this land, flesh and blood and bone, buried deep in the ground. This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. I truly appreciate the company, as I do every week. Share this, share it live, share it out, and I hope to see you at the press conference that we do this week. Mwah. See you later, and ciao. I love y'all. Thank you, sir.